What's up there, lovely people of the internet? Welcome back to another very exciting video. If you're watching live on Twitch, welcome back to another exciting stream. Anyway, in today's video, we're gonna be talking about jobless reincarnation because first of all, I really like Isekai. I actually don't, but I do love this one because this one is very different from the normal Isekai. A lot of people have been describing this show as the grandfather of Isekai, the senpai of Isekais, or I guess, I don't know, the thing that made Isekais great. I would like to point out that this show has made Isekai great again. That is a terrible joke. We're gonna roll with it. Why do I like jobless reincarnation or Mushoku Tensei? One reason, or I guess the main reason that I like jobless reincarnation is because I like to describe it as the ugly bastard origin story. Because the story starts off with, for lack of a better term, an ugly bastard. He is actually very disgusting to look at and a very disgusting individual in general for the fact that he doesn't have a job, he's a NEET, stays at home, is probably insanely depressed. In fact, I'm sure that he's insanely depressed. I guess he also masturbates. That's a detail that the show chose to tell us that we did not need to know at all. Another factor, or another reason why I like Mushoku Tensei is because in this anime, even though our protagonist is isekai'd into another world via the means of Truck-kun, which is the best way to go, it's still fairly different because in most isekai, and this is what I think makes this show stand out, is the fact that he starts off from birth. In most other isekai, the characters get isekai'd into this world and are immediately overpowered, and they are the saviors or the chosen ones. In jobless reincarnation, our protagonist is just a baby boy who has to grow up, learn everything from scratch, and I guess the icing on the cake here is that he also maintains all of his memories from his previous life. So imagine you are a 34-year-old guy. Maybe just imagine me stuck in a baby's body. And the first thing you see is some woman's tits. You don't even know who she is. And you're so into it. But then you soon realize that it's your mom. And that's a little bit weird. And you should probably not be into it because, yeah. The point is, Rudius, Romeo, Juliet, Rudy Giuliani, whatever you want to call him. I can't really pronounce his name. Starts off from birth. And the show is following his life and his journey to becoming, I would ultimately imagine, the overpowered protagonist in isekai that we have come to learn from the trope. However, this one is a lot more special because the pacing just fits. I like that instead of just seeing our protagonist be insanely overpowered from the start, we see him as this powerless child, just learning about this world around him, growing up in this world, finding out about the various things that and happenings of this world, and then learning that eventually magic does exist. And because he has knowledge from his previous life, learns to read a spell book, learns to do a spell. But there's a lot more to the show than just that. There's a large group of characters. There's a lot of women in his harem, is what I'm trying to say. But before we get into the characters and cast of this show a little bit more, I should probably mention that this show is based on a light novel, and it is heralded as one of the first isekai light novels in existence, if I'm not mistaken. Although I did also find out recently that Dot Hat came out a lot before this. You know, if anything, I would go as far as saying that jobless reincarnation is probably the perfect blueprint for isekai anime in general. Because I feel like a lot of the shows that came out down the line, I guess the biggest example being Sword Art Online, looked at this, I guess, the light novel for this show and used it as their template for what something in this genre should be. And while most of the isekai that have come out in recent years have not really impressed anyone, except maybe the 12-year-olds that are currently watching this video, I guess anyone that likes Sword Art Online, I'd like to think that this did it right. And it makes sense because it was one of the first. While we do have our harem cast, like I mentioned, Rudius also has a dad, which, as you can imagine, is as sleazy as he is. Because most of the women in this show, and I say this with a grain of salt, but actually I also really mean it. Every girl in this show actually is best girl. Literally every single one of them. There is not a single girl in this show that is not best girl. I've never watched an anime before that has had every single girl be best girl. Literally all of them. Eris, Roxy, Sylphie, freaking Lilia, all of them. What's his mom's name? I'm not sure what his mom's name is. All of them are best girl, except Paul. F you, Paul. No one likes you, Paul. I don't know why you exist as a character. You're a sleazy son of a bitch. The great cast of characters in this show include people like freaking Roxy. Roxy was the first girl in the harem to be introduced. I'm saying it's a harem even though I haven't even seen or know that if it's going to be a harem later on in the line. I'm assuming it's going to be a harem given it's an isekai. Point is, they're great. They're fantastic together. And there's a scene in the show that will probably make you guys like Roxy a little more than you probably should. I'm just saying, okay? His parents, they're very active in the show, and they're not subtle about it. And Roxy, I mean, but not to focus too much on the women of this world, except for Sylphie. Sylphie is cute, and I want to marry Sylphie, and I think she's going to be the greatest girl that this world has ever seen. Some people might disagree because I feel like Eris is also really good. Eris is a great girl, except she's more of the tsundere type. I'm not really into tsunderes, but like if you're into tsunderes, Eris is there for you. Why am I talking about the girls? I didn't want to talk about the girls. The magic in this world works in a way that makes sense, because in a lot of shows you get the magic system and it's introduced to you, but the main character just sort of kind of knows how to do it, which I guess, to be fair, is sort of the same in this show, but he has to learn. And like I mentioned earlier, he had to read a spell book, and Roxy trains him in the art of magic. There are different rankings and levels of the magic users in this world, and Roxy essentially trains him until he becomes very efficient in magic. But the same goes for his sword skills. Unlike in most isekai, I'm looking at you, Sword Art Online, where Kirito is, for whatever reason, goddamn broken, and this can flip and shit and do shit because he's goddamn God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost himself. Rideus is not like that. He's a child. So he has to train to become, or I guess reach that level. So he trains with his father in the art of swordsmanship, and his dad does not his dad doesn't go easy on him. Anyway, I've spent a lot of time in this video highlighting the characters and highlighting the world of the show. But what I should highlight next is the production value and the production quality of this show. This show is gorgeous. I'm not even sure who's animating the show, what studio it is, because I never really look into stuff like that, but it is a beautiful show. Not only that, but there is like this little weird overlay filter of like noise that most people probably will not notice, but there's a noise overlay that makes it seem a little bit more filmic, but also subtly when you're watching each episode, you'll see the frame like suddenly like skip or move up in a sense. I'm not sure if I can even show it here in this video, but if you really pay attention, you can see these subtle details about the show that just make it absolutely gorgeous. And the animation isn't stiff like most anime. It's very much fluid. I would probably say that, I mean, I know nothing about animation, but they're probably animating a lot more tweens than normal with this anime. Just saying. Overall, Jobless Reincarnation, Mushoku Tensei is a great show. I really do love and enjoy a lot of the aspects in this show, and I think you would too if you go ahead and check it out. It's currently streaming. You can watch it on Funimation, who I'm gonna destroy their website one of these days with a takedown video, because Funimation, you, why is it that your goddamn player doesn't work? Every single time I hit the play button, you know, I'm gonna say, anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you guys go ahead, follow me on Twitch, where this was streamed live to an audience of about 70 people. 60 people. I'm bad at math. About 60 people, because you know, I don't know, the fact that they're watching me live right now do all this nonsense is incredible in of itself. So anyway, thank them. Maybe you can join them next time, and thank you for watching the video. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, but also I hope that you enjoy this anime as much as I am going to enjoy watching the next episode that comes out, which is really sad because I don't think it's going to be a long-running series. I really wish it was, but whatever. That's the nature of these types of shows. In the comments down below, I want you guys to go ahead and tell me more shows like this, because I definitely love to watch them. And also, I just like watching anime in general. So just suggest anything that you think that I haven't seen. I'll check it out, and maybe we'll talk about it. Bye.